If you have had your English tested before, you may be familiar with the Common European Framework of Reference. It's a standard method for assessing English level, and it's divided into 6 categories. A1 and A2 are beginner levels, B1 and B2 are intermediate, and C1 and C2 are advanced. There are many free online tests that you can take to check your level. But you can also take official language proficiency tests like the IELTS or Cambridge exams, TOEFL exams, which are going to give you certified proof of your English level for employers, for colleges and universities. Hey Lady is an online speaking community, and so for that reason, it is an appropriate place for intermediate and advanced level English learners, because we interact and develop speaking skills further here inside Hey Lady. Let's take a closer look at what B1 and B2 mean. These are the intermediate levels. And I'm going to talk about what you should be able to do at each level so that you can assess your own English level and try to understand where you are on your English journey. So B1 is intermediate, the equivalent of a Cambridge PET exam or an IELTS level 4 to 5. And at this level, you can understand and contribute to conversations about family, work, school, daily life, hobbies, free time. You can also talk about past experiences, share your opinion, talk about dreams and future ambitions. You can deal with most situations as a tourist while traveling. Not that it's easy, but it's manageable. You can write about things that interest you, and perhaps you're still translating from your native language regularly in your head. Maybe you pause before you speak while you plan what to say next. These are all characteristic of a B1 intermediate learner. B1 is a brilliant level to reach. Why? Because now you have the ability to communicate and to interact with other English speakers. And being able to do that means that you become an independent language learner. You don't always need to rely on an English teacher to help you because you've got enough knowledge of English to create your own world of English. You get to listen to podcasts, watch movies, learn from videos on YouTube. This is a really fantastic place to be in. And of course, here inside the Hey Lady community, you can meet other English-speaking women. You can join English conversations and participate in groups and activities. So at a B1 level, all of these activities will start to help you develop your fluency and increase your range of vocabulary naturally through conversations. So now we get to B2, that's the upper intermediate level, and the equivalent of a Cambridge First Certificate or FCE exam or an IELTS level 5 to 6. Now, here you can do everything I just mentioned in B1, but you can also communicate with a native speaker without too much strain or effort. And equally, they can understand you. You can maintain a conversation easily, and you can respond to questions naturally and spontaneously without too much hesitation. So you can see that it's absolutely possible to feel fluent as an intermediate English learner. Fluency does not mean perfect, accurate English. It means that you feel comfortable, that you can communicate your message and you can maintain a conversation with other English speakers. If you're not trying to improve your English for job opportunities or for moving abroad, then here's an interesting thought for you to ponder. Once you feel fluent, you don't have to aspire to be any higher than this. If you're at one of the intermediate levels, it is already an incredible achievement. And if you can get to B2, you absolutely can communicate effectively in the world with other English speakers. You can enjoy yourself. You can start to have fun in English. Everything around us in the world makes us feel like intermediate is not enough, that advanced is where you need to get to, and perfection is the only thing you should be aiming for. And if you don't make it, then you've failed on your English journey somehow. But this is just not true. I'm giving you permission to be happy and proud of your language skills, the language skills you've developed, and it's time to start enjoying them. Time to put those language skills to use. And I promise that if you keep experiencing English, you will forever continue to learn and develop your skills even without going to formal classes. By participating, by developing your communication skills, your speaking skills, you will continually get to take in more vocabulary, learn to express yourself in different ways, even without formal classes. Okay, so now let's talk about the advanced levels, C1 and C2. Obviously, things get a little more complex from here, and actually, these levels are the ones that many companies and institutions require for job applications or for further academic studies. C1 is the advanced level. It's the equivalent of a Cambridge Advanced exam or a CAE exam and an IELTS level 7. You can do everything that I just mentioned in B1 and B2, plus you can understand long texts and conversations about topics that you're unfamiliar with. You don't think about vocabulary or grammar too much as you speak, and you can understand and write academic texts. Now, for context, some native English speakers actually use English at around this level. You might have assumed that all native speakers must be at C2, but no. There are some very specific things that you need to be able to do to reach C2. C2 is proficient, and it's the equivalent of an IELTS level 8 to 9. So here you can easily understand everything that you hear in English. You can express your thoughts freely and spontaneously, even if you're being challenged or asked to defend your point of view. You can write coherently and concisely with the ability to summarize information and argue a point convincingly. You can also read and understand long, complex text quickly. Okay, so why am I talking about English levels with you here? It's really easy to assume that as an English learner, you should be aiming for C2, to be proficient in English. But it's not always the case. In specific situations, like if you're planning to study abroad or work internationally, then yes, C1 and C2 is what you should be aiming for. But if the reason that you're studying English is for pleasure, to meet people, to travel, to do exciting things around the world, then honestly, aiming to reach C1 or C2 might not be the right goal for you. It's not necessary to reach that level. You're perfectly capable of thriving in English at B2. And it's okay to stay put, to stay there. And if you are here to keep improving and to push from intermediate to advanced, then you can certainly do that too. The Hey Lady community is a powerful, useful tool to help you develop and to maintain your speaking skills. Here, you are regularly immersing yourself in an English-speaking world. You're meeting new friends, you're watching great lessons shared by your coaches, and you're putting everything that you learn into practice as much as you can, discussing interesting topics together. You're here at Hey Lady to use your English and to develop your confident communication skills. So, let's do it, ladies.